there we go, that we can actually have uh, this record for you or for any of your colleagues that may be coming in later and they need to go over it, especially these first sessions where we're going over a lot of material in this short time. And so let me first open up. I want to share my screen with you. And I think I have it up. Yeah, really quickly. I want to share with you. Is everybody able to see my screen that says Suffering Together?
Yes.
What a way to start out a new
Yes.
year. Suffering together. Well, we're all going through something together, aren't we? And let me just, right before I go, let me unshare 1 second, and let me let Miss Carlisle in. Okay, let me do this again now. There we are. So I'm going to go ahead with this one, Suffering Together, and we'll talk a little bit. Okay, from 1 Corinthians, it reminds us on chapter 12, verses 14 through 26. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. And tonight, here we are. There are at least 12 of you there. Dr. Kim and I are here, and I'll be introducing you to Dr. Kim and to Miss Carol in just a second. But I just wanted to open up, and I looked at this reading before, and I said, wow, what a way to start out. Suffering, nobody likes to start out talking about that. But yet, the message with this is that when you're going through things together, and I'm just going, that last paragraph says, perhaps the worst part of suffering is when we feel we're drowning in the dark all by ourselves. God, however, creates a new community that suffers together, a new community where no one should be left in the dark. And that's the big thing I want you all to understand as you go through this program. So sometimes learning new terms, learning new language, if you will, it's going to feel like, wow, this is just too much. But we are going through it together. We're going to talk later on about our values that we have espoused that everyone should live up to. And that's inquiring faithfully, following faithfully, communicating faithfully, caring faithfully, and leading faithfully. And of course, one of the big ones in that group of 5 is communicating with each other. That's going to be a huge thing. And so we're going to be talking about in our assignments and as we go through. But again, remember, we're not in this thing by ourselves. I usually start out also reminding people in the first week, people are really encouraged. We're starting back, it's exciting. By week 3 or week 4, when assignments start to do, some of you are going to say, why in the world did I do this? Did I agree to do this? What have I gotten myself into? And when we are thinking about that, because it feels overwhelming, it's one thing to start out, we have this excitement. It's another thing to say, yeah, but I don't understand that. And especially if any of you are type A type personalities where you are so used to being the top person who understands it all, you're leading over there at your hospital, and yet you come here and all of a sudden there's something that gets marked off or something that we say, nope, that's not quite right. Or there's a lot of reading that you're going to be doing and you're going to be feeling a little overwhelmed or so by week 3, 4, or 5. I encourage you to remember again, we are in this thing together. This program is built for you to succeed. And part of that is this usness, if you will, that we really want to come alongside you. All of us feel that way in the School of Nursing. And so what I'm going to encourage all of you to do is reach out. I've had a couple of emails from people already. I say, this is awesome. That means you see something and you ask a question. You don't wait until it's too overwhelming. So remember, we're all in this together. I'm going to open up in a word of prayer, if that's okay. And then we're going to hop into it for this next hour or so. So Lord, we give you thanks for your loving kindness to us. Even as we begin afresh this semester, and so many new questions, so many things we may be asking. Is it appropriate that I'm here this evening? I don't feel like I know a lot of research and a lot of things that I'm being asked to do. And yet, God, we believe that you called each of us here to this place for your purpose in our lives. We ask you to settle it in our hearts, even as we move along week to week and each night that people are doing their assignments and their discussions and doing clinicals and all the things that get so busy as we start along. And yet I really believe, Father, that you gave each one of us that desire and that knowledge that this is where we're supposed to be. So bless this time that we are able to give back to you. Cause us to be able to focus on the goals for this hour in time that we're together. And we'll give you praise for all you've done and that you're doing in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray with thanksgiving. Amen. All righty. Well, that's awesome. Everybody ready to get to work? Everybody ready to learn something about what it is? One of the things we wanted to do is, and I had a couple of questions about clinicals. Well, what is that 60-20L and those 20 hours that I talk with you about during our interview sessions? And so one of the first things here I want to introduce you to is Miss Carol Fusnell. And have all of you either communicated with Carol yet or seen her picture? Well, she's actually here in San Diego this week, and she wanted to be here for the beginning of your semester so that she could answer questions if there are any of you have questions, and I really do urge you to communicate again with her. We've asked Carol to come in, and she's going to she's actually here right with us. She's just in the office around the corner, and she's going to share something about those clinical hours that you're going to be doing. And you may have a lot of questions afterwards, but we hope this will answer some of those. So Carol, could you just say hi and just mention why we asked you to be here this evening in this class with us?
Certainly. Thank you, Dr. Rinkin. Hi, everybody. I know I've talked with every one of you at least once by email, some of you in person or on the phone, and it's really great to see your faces tonight. One of the things you're going to be doing in this class, I'm going to share my screen in a minute anyway, so I don't know if seeing my face is going to help you a whole lot, but one of the things you're doing in this class, you're going to be communicating or accruing clinical hours in your 60-20L class. And those of you who are CNS, you're going to be accumulating clinical hours that are going to go towards your 500 CNS hours, but you're going to be accumulating those as servant leadership hours. To do that, you need to record, both groups need to record their hours on a log. And so one of the things we're going to do tonight is hopefully create that log while you're in class, because we've learned from last year, was the first year we did this, that it can be confusing for students to get this set up and get it working properly. The hope is if we do this as a group this year, that you'll have a better idea how to get started with it, hopefully get it up and running tonight. And if you don't, you'll have a good lead on some questions, and also know if you get done with the session, you're totally confused by it, reach out to me. We can meet one-on-one by Zoom. We can do your log one-on-one if need be, so that everybody gets started really strong with this log in place and ready to go with it, okay? All right, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you in your assignment, if you can go into your Canvas class, if you're not there already, I'm going to show you where to go to do this, and we're going to walk through it step by step. And my plan is, if you're able to actually have you create your log while I'm doing the example one here. Okay, can you all see my screen where it says clinical log due week 1?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to show you how to get there. I'm sorry, I meant to start here. So I'm in your 60-20 class right now. There's Dr. Rankin. To get to that page I was just on, you want to go to assignments. And then all the way at the bottom is your clinical log, due week 1. So go ahead and click on that. And if I get going too fast, tell me to stop. Unmute yourself, say I need a minute. Feel free to ask questions as we're going through this. We really want this to be a good hands-on experience for you to get it settled today if you can. Okay, so the first instruction here, even before that, there are downloadable instructions. If you do those, they're going to look like this. You don't have to do that if you get it set tonight, but if you are a little confused and you want a lot more detail, you can get those there and look at them on your own. I'm not going to go through those tonight because we're going to do it as we're going here. So number one, open your clinical log template. So go ahead and click on that log, or that link, I'm sorry. It's going to take you to this page. Are you guys seeing my log? I moved something and I'm not sure. Does it still show the log?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let me see. Oh, I can see who's with me actually. That's good. I'm gonna wait just a minute because I only see 5 people so far. I don't know if I'm moving too fast or if there are some just not able to do this with us tonight.
And
I need to log into my Google. It wasn't letting me in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You
mine
can hang
too.
here for a minute.
I'm not sure how to get both screens on my picture.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I wondered. Since we're not in the classroom, if you have one screen, this might be tricky to do tonight. And if that's the case, if it's too hard to do tonight with one screen, just watch, take some notes, do it after. And if you're really stuck, reach out to me. We can do it one-on-one. Okay. Okay. So we'll give it just another few, maybe 30 seconds here.
Wendy, do you have a Mac or do you have a PC?
I have a Mac.
If you go in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see like the very upper left-hand corner of the screen. You should be able to hover over and get a little green arrow. And in that arrow, if you like, instead of clicking on it, if you just scroll down, you can move your zoom to the right or the left, and then you can work on something else on the other half of your screen.
You're kidding.
Thank you. That was super helpful.
So I'm going to the upper left of my screen. Nothing green is coming out.
So if you have your cursor in the very upper top, it will give you the bar across the top that has a little apple, and then it says zoom.us. And then right below that, there should be a red button, a grayed out button, and a green button.
I'm sorry, I don't. I don't have anything at the top. Oh, here's Zoom. I see. Wow. So there's a way to split the screen, right?
Yes, there is. So right below where it says Zoom, you should see, if you're in full screen mode, you should see the little green button that if you hover over that, then you can have it split your screen in half.
Wow.
And if you don't see it, remember this is being recorded.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. So okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be able to go over this as many times as you would like. And please remember, as Carol said, if she's offering assistance, if any of us offer assistance, please take us up on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Get it.
Okay. So for those of you who are on this screen with me, and those who are watching to take notes and keep in mind for later or for the recording, the next step is going to be to go right here where file is, click on that, and make a copy. You're going to save that copy with your name. And you're going to put it in your own Google Drive. You're creating a Google Doc copy of this log that you'll use through the whole program. So wherever in your drive is going to be a convenient place for you to find that, that's where you want to save it. Any questions about that piece so far? No, okay. Once you have those pieces set, then click OK. It's going to open up your log in your drive. So now you're seeing mine on your screen. You should be seeing yours with your name. Okay, now there's a couple things we need to do here that are going to vary by track. Those of you who are in the general tracks, education, business, or no concentration, that group only, come down to semester 1 here, right click, rename, grad nursing 6020L. That's your clinical section in the class you're in right now. CNS students, you are not in the clinical section for this class, so you don't want to be doing this. I'll give you different instructions in a minute. Okay. The non-CNS group. After you've done that, click on the Summary tab. And your 6020L should still be here. That's the tab you're going to use to record your hours during this semester. On your Summary tab, again, stop me if I'm moving too quickly, but on your Summary tab, go to Semester 1, right click, looking for rename. I don't see it. Okay, just click on it, come up to your bar up here. You can rename it there. Again, grad nursing 6020L. Did it do it? No, it didn't do it.
There it is.
There we go.
There
I
it is.
think that was just a user error. It should have done it on yours. Okay, so this is your summary sheet. As you're recording your hours this semester, you're going to actually, I went back into this tab down here. This is where you're going to put your hours. You're going to fill in all those things, the date, the course, your hours, what you're doing. The summary sheet, I believe, tabulates on its own. You'll have to add your course, your semester, where you're at, but the hours should compile on their own. Okay, and now the CNS students, instead of renaming a tab, I'm going to the other group.
All right, I'm sorry.
CNS
how are you able
students,
to, Carol, I'm sorry, how are you able to get into a summary? I guess I missed a step.
Oh, it's a different tab.
1. Right, I see that.
Okay, okay.
And then, so I click on it, and is it the semester 1 itself?
Oh, if you click on the cell that says semester 1.
Correct.
And then come up to the bar up here.
Oh, I see that. Okay.
You should be able to type a new word in there or type your course in there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, no. Thanks for asking. The more we can get settled tonight, the better. The main goal is to get everybody on track eventually. So. Okay. For our CNS students, instead of recording under a 6020L tab, you're going to be using the Servant Leadership tab. You're going to be recording your CNS hours on a form that looks a lot more like what the other students are doing on their 6020L. That's just your CNS hours, and you'll get that information in your CNS class. But in this class, you're going to do Servant Leadership and just do your date, your activity, your hours. And that will show on your summary page under Servant Leadership hours right here.
And Carol, this would be some of those hours, such as the Wellness Center, if any of them are up there doing any COVID-related duties or any hours such as that? Is that the Servant Leadership hours?
I would recommend you talk with your lead clinical faculty if you are unsure if they fall under CNS or if they fall under Servant Leadership. CNS has spheres. If you are meeting the spheres for your CNS training, they probably can be counted as CNS hours, but your faculty will need to clarify that for you.
Thank you.
Servant leadership is more things where you're in a leadership type role, serving in your community, things along those lines that may not necessarily fit the CNS spheres. Okay, something that both groups need to do is get rid of this conferences line. So if you click on the number right next to it, it should highlight this whole row. We have removed this and it didn't get on this form. So to get rid of confusion for you during this semester, we're just going to delete that. You can't enter it if it's not there, right? Mm-hmm. Same with down here. Delete this tab. We don't have those anymore. It was something just for CNS and we don't have them there. Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Now that's this log. If you've done all the steps I've given you so far, your log is in good shape. And it's a Google Doc, so you don't even have to click save. It will just save it for you. So you can close that piece. We're going to go back to your assignment. Let me know when you're there, or if you're not there before I move on. Anyway. If I've confused you, because I know I did a few things all together there. Is everybody back to here, or anybody that's still waiting? Okay. Now scroll all the way down here. This form at the bottom is what's going to link it to a spreadsheet that your faculty can access throughout your program. And that way you never actually have to submit this document anywhere. It's already there. Okay, that's how they'll use it for grading. That's how at the end of the program, we will use it to process your hours if you need for licensing or certification, not licensing, for certifications. So go ahead and fill this out. Put your name, just anything it's asking for. Your clinical course, if you are not in a CNS track, it's going to be 6020L. If you are in a CNS track, this is adult gero. This is pediatrics. 6025L is pediatrics. 6024L is adult gero. Family health is 6026L. So pick the one that fits you. Come down to your fall semester. 2020. I don't think any of you have an assigned preceptor yet. If you happen to, go ahead, yes, and put their name in. But if you don't, just click no for now. You'll be entering that on your log later. For those of you who have a preceptor. 6020L students, you may not have a specific preceptor. It's going to be your faculty if you have anybody. So don't worry about that if you don't. CNS students, that'll be more important to put it on your log. Okay, now, after you click next, it's bringing you here. Right here, we need the URL where you saved that Google log earlier. So now you're going to go into your Google Drive. And find that log wherever you put it. Open it up. And the URL is this line at the top that I just highlighted on mine. You see some confused looks. Anybody that has a question that I can help with? Okay. If you have your URL, highlight it like that and copy it. You can either do that by hitting Control-C, or you may be able to right-click and copy. but you want to copy this this URL. Now back in your assignment, put that URL on this line. So paste it. Today's date. And submit. Okay. Now, I think I am going to show you where this goes just so you can see the follow through on it. You won't have access to this page, you won't see it, but this is where your faculty is going to go to get those logs. And so even if you didn't get yours there tonight, we'll be checking to make sure and get you all on board so that it does get here early in the semester so that you have your log set up for the program. So you can see, here's me from tonight. There's a couple others of you who've done this tonight who are already here. And if I were to click on that link, I'm going to click on mine. All the faculty has to do is click on that link and they can see your log. Okay. That gets you set up for the whole program.
Awesome.
Yep. Any other questions? No. Okay. And I want to reiterate, if you didn't get this done tonight, if you're confused, if you're even just have one question that's holding you up, let me know so we can get you set. Okay.
How awesome. Thank you so much, Carol.
Sure.
You know, a few years ago in the first master's class that students were taking, and I went through, and every 5 slides, I would have one slide that said, what questions do you have? And we went through, there were no questions, and I got through all of my lecture, and I do a lot of slides. And so every 5 slides, no one said anything. And so I dismissed class and I said, somebody's got to have a question. And so I sent out an email and I said, your first assignment is to tell me one thing that you didn't understand. And after about 15, 20 minutes, one young man, actually, he emailed, he put it in this, I had it in the discussion board. And he said, Dr. Rankin, I didn't understand one thing that you said tonight. he said, all of it was right up there. And so after he said that, then about every 5 minutes, someone would enter in a conversation and they would say, you know, I didn't understand this or this or this or this. And we had a great conversation then. So I know it's difficult the first night when you're hearing, especially first nights, you got a lot of information. So even if you don't know how to put your questions, your words, your thoughts into questions right now, be sure and take advantage of any of us. If you have questions, send an email, send a text, send something so that we can assist you to move forward earlier than later. And so, Carol, you did that presentation 1,000 times more accurate than I could actually bring this information. So thank you for doing this. And all of you remember that this is, as soon as the class is over, I'll get this recording and so that you can actually have access to this, and I can send it to you if anybody would like to have that. You just let me know before class is over and I'll make sure and send it to you. So Carol, thank you so much again for being here, and you can stay all night with us, but I know you have other things you need to do, but thank you so much for this.
I do need to head out for tonight, so I'm going to say goodbye. It's good to see you all, and I hope to maybe see you while I'm in town and definitely sometime during your program. Have a good class.
Thank you. So there we go. Here we are, and we have a couple more people here. We still don't have all of our classmates here, but most of us are here. And one thing I'm going to be urging you all to do, remember, you are a cohort moving through this together. And a great benefit of cohorts, you know, is that you come along, you support each other as you go through, and you strengthen each other. So even our colleague who's not here today, remember that we'll be thinking of her and praying and wishing her well, and we'll be seeing some of you even in the next couple of days. One other thing I wanted to do is I want to introduce you to Dr. San Kim. Now, you may have seen my face all the time, but I'm going to ask Dr. Kim to come up here. I'm put my mask on so she can come up here. And if she could just a little introduction, because we both are going to be doing this thing together. She's going to have most of the Thursday nights. I have most of the Tuesday nights. And then you may see both of us here both nights. So have Dr. Kim. Could you say a little bit about yourself, Dr. Kim?
Okay. Well, I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, let me change that so that they can actually see your face good. Where is that? Because they may not speaker view.
Podium.
Now,
Can you see me?
let me see.
Maybe go to podium.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kim.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see Dr. Kim okay?
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, that's better.
Okay, thank you. So I'm very excited about this course, and I've been teaching at Point Loma since 2000, year of 2000, but I've been in and out, moving to East Coast, came back, and then we taught together. Dr. Rankin and I taught together research course, and then we moved to Texas, and then we just moved back to San Diego last year. So this is my third time teaching at Point Loma.
We're going to keep her here this time.
It's a wonderful place to be here, and I want to congratulate all of you being in that, coming to Point Loma and being at graduate program. This course, a little bit maybe challenging for some of you, but it's very important as a graduate level advanced practice nurse, learning that special skills in nursing research and evidence-based practice. So we're gonna do a lot of learning basic concept, but also applying to your setting, how to be an EBP champion. And also this course will help you to do well on your comprehensive exam next year. So a lot of value to this course, and we'll have a lot of fun together. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. All right. You know, I say one thing about this time of COVID. You know, I'm not going to know how to act when I'm going out in public without a mask on. I'm going to feel just really naked that I don't have a mask on when we have all of this clear. Oh, I'm glad somebody put some things in the chat. Thank you for those of you. You know that anytime you want to, thank you to zoom in with the camera so we can see her face. Thank you so much, and it did. And to find some earphones, great. So please go ahead and do your chats. If there are questions that you want to ask, please put it in the chat box. If I don't see you, or raise your hand, or just start talking with me. One thing I want to do before time goes, this first day is really what I've really loved in the past. I get a chance to just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Today, I don't have that opportunity, so I have to make sure that we get through some of the first day things, which is making sure that you have had access to all of the course materials and you know what to do is the minute we finish class tonight and until the time we see you again next week, that you know how to access all of the documents, the discussions, the assignments, how to get in contact with us and all of that. So I'm gonna share my screen as soon as let me see, is that it? That's the rank continues, everything together. Let me for a second make sure I can find, I wanna pull up the Canvas and the syllabus to make sure that we all have had access. There we go. Okay. Okay. So we are going to share our Canvas screen and show you everything that I'm hoping that everybody has seen already. Has everybody seen this page? This is on Canvas. And actually, let me just go ahead, just start at the home page so you know. If you haven't been on this Canvas page, this is what the home page looks like. That's when I had a lot of hair. Well, I didn't have a lot of it, but I have more than I do right now. But this is the home page for you. These are the assignments that really you need to do just to begin. Some of you I know have already started on the academic honesty verification, the COVID-19 modules, because I've already graded some of those, or at least clicked on it that you completed that. Have a little bit about myself, the syllabus, the required materials and recommended resources right here. And you'll notice, if just in case this is your first time using Canvas, on the left-hand side here, this is what you are seeing for all the things that are within the class. If you go a little bit further, this is the dashboard that you will see for all of the courses that you might be taking. So if you're taking this course, 6020L, if you're taking a history, or excuse me, an education course or a business course, those would be in here as well, because all of the departments are using Canvas, okay, and Zoom. On the right-hand side, you'll notice that these are when your assignments that are coming up. So if you notice these on your course page, these are some of the things that are coming up for students to do. There, one thing you're also going to notice, and I went ahead and put you all into groups, because part of the work you're going to be doing this semester is you're going to be working in teams of 3 for your papers and your clinical. And I've already divided you into groups just in case, and I don't know if you've seen that, but your names are in here. So these are going to be, let me just click it. So you'll find your name in one of these. These are going to be the individuals that you're going to be working with to do your papers, and also in any group clinical projects. So this is the groups that I have you in, okay? So I wanted you to look at that. This Zoom button should be the one that is connected to the course for the week. And I usually will have just one link, but this semester, because we want to make sure and record all the sessions in case someone cannot be here, or especially like tonight when there's a lot of instruction on procedures that you need to get. And so that you can go back and just click on a particular videotape for a separate week. But this should get you to each week when I open up the Zoom. But I may send out the link as I did today, just to make sure. If you haven't been in Canvas, there's a button right here that says conferences, and you can actually, you can set up your own meetings through conferences. You can do Zoom as well, or Google Hangouts if you want to meet with each other, but you can also use one that's built in. It's called Conferences. Used to be called the big blue button. I'm going to just click here, but you're going to be getting this in 2 weeks. It's week 3. We have our librarian, graduate librarian, is going to be coming in, and she's going to be telling you everything that you really need to know about how you're going to access materials at the library. So, and she'll ask you how many of you have gone to the library's webpage, and it would be great for you to go there just to make sure you know how to get the articles and all the things that we're going to be asking you to do this semester. Okay. So this is a look at everything. You'll notice if you click on these 2 are probably the ones that you're going to be really, actually these 3, the assignments, the discussions, and the modules will let you know what it is you're going to be doing each week, particular assignments, particular discussions that you're going to have. And I better click on quizzes, because quizzes are one of the things we really want you to do to make sure that you understand the materials for week 1. Your quiz is going to be following that for week 2, for week 3. So when you have readings, make sure that you stay up, and the quizzes actually allow you to know whether or not you understand the materials that's in chapter 1 or chapter 2 or chapter 3 or chapter 4, chapter 5, okay? What am I missing in this intro, Dr. Kim? Anything in particular before I click on anything?
Click module 1.
Click on module, so let's look at it since this is where we are now today. Now you don't have all of those, that's for instructors. One thing that our instructional designer wanted you all to be able to look at are those Canvas for when you're talking about groups, or if you're talking about grading each other, doing anything, these are instructions that allow you to actually know exactly how to do those things, okay? So if you're in collaboration using Canvas or collaborative methods, this sort of shows you what to do. These first 2, as I said, these were the first 2 assignments that we want you to do. Again, we want everyone to know, unless it's a group assignment or unless it's something we particularly ask you to do with someone else, this statement is pretty self-clear that you did the work yourself. And then we begin to get into the weeks. Week 1, you have the topic and things we're going to be talking about. The clinical log, if you're doing clinical hours. The synchronous session, this is where today, this is what we're doing right now. The link will be in there. It sort of tells you what we're going to be going over today, right? And there should be, again, we try to put as many links in here as we can to allow you to know what it is you're supposed to be doing, how you're going to connect, okay? So going back, let me go back to modules. The other thing you'll notice right now, this is going very slowly because all of us, and I don't know, 3,000 other students may be using Canvas at the time. And so one thing we've been advised to keep our online time down because of that. Everybody in the world is using Zoom, and certainly we at Point Loma here in the graduate programs are all using it at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the evening. So it might slow down just a little bit, but we'll get through this right here. So again, this was week 1. Let me just click on that so that if you haven't looked, and there was a couple questions about your textbook. Let's see. Does anybody, first of all, does anybody still need to get a textbook, or you know how to get your textbooks? Someone was asking about if you could order it through the bookstore. Our Barnes & Noble bookstore has it, or if you're going through Amazon or any of the other online bookstores, you can order it. It is the 11th edition, the new Pollitt and Beck nursing research text, and this one's purple. Someone emailed the other day, and I think you were looking at a different version of this, and my comments were, as long as I haven't looked at a different version of this. It was for Southeastern text, but it should be the same thing. But again, this is the one that we use here. It's a really good research text. This is the newest edition, but we've used this 10th edition for a few years before this. It sort of goes into a lot about basic what research is, what EBP is, and it takes you step by step. And as I said, the quizzes are built around what's going on in the chapters that you're reading, okay? So if you looked at that, talked about the first module. This is an overview of everything you're going to be, all the 3 assignments that you're going to be doing with your teams. And I think we have the assignments laid out so you know that if it says team, that means you're going to be with those other 2 individuals getting that assignment done. or if it's individual, it won't have the team label in front of it, just like right here. Let me just show you, just in case there were questions. Come on, it's coming. It's going through. I think it is. Let me just click it again. Okay, a little slow. But for week 1, so here's week 1, the introduction to research, what we'll be doing, the synchronous sessions. Week 2, next week, again, what you will be talking about, the synchronous sessions and the link that's in there. Week 3, and this is what we're going to be discussing. The librarian will be here to talk with you about that. Week 4 gets into more detail about the study aims, hypothesis, literature review. Week 5, theoretical foundations of nursing and EBP. Week 6, we're talking about quantitative design. Week 7, sampling and quantitative. Week 8 is measurements and data collection. Week 9, stats. Week 10, clinical significance. Week 11, qualitative research. And, you know, I always say this about each week. And remember and I'll ask you a question about the difference in qualitative and quantitative research. But sometimes we will have 1 or 2 sessions on qualitative and maybe a lot more on quantitative, because that's one of the methods that's used a lot, especially in nursing research and medical research, is quantitative designs. But qualitative is a really good approach as well, and especially for the questions that really needed to be asking in that qualitative sessions. I had one individual one time a few years ago, and the question that they really were interested in was one of those things that it's a little different. They asked, well, I wonder, what is it like to die? Which is one of those huge questions. And you say, well, how would you approach that? How would you approach something like that? Or the meaning behind death, something like that. So we'll be talking about qualitative research. And in fact, I'll bring it up a little bit tonight. We have to talk about ethics. And even though it's late in the semester, we have to consider ethical considerations, even when you're talking about what type of project or a research study that you may be reading or that you may be thinking to do. You have to think, is it the right thing to do? Or if someone did a study and you wonder, and say it's related to children, and they may have an approach where they're going to actually take children and do X. And your question, I'm hoping, is going to say, is going to be, well, should they do this? Should they or should not they not even carry out this project? So something we want to think about even before. There will be no class throughout the week of Thanksgiving. I want you to really focus on, now I know you're thankful for school as well, but maybe be thankful that you have a week off without assignments. And then we're going to be talking about QI, quality improvement, and dissemination. We want to think about dissemination earlier because you're going to be actually doing your a poster presentation, thinking about that while you're in here. And then we'll be wrapping up before you know it. A basic look at the schedule. The syllabus is right above it, so you can click on those downloadable Word files and you can see exactly what it is that we're doing. It's also, my number's on this one, but if you're in the other class, Dr. Kim's number, and I think your number may be on the hard copy as well right here. But if you have a question for any of us, please, please be sure and ask that question. What time do I? Yes, I hear a question.
We have a question because what's listed under the required text, the IBN is the 10th edition and it says the 10th edition.
Really? Okay.
We're wondering if it's supposed to be 10th or 11th.
11th edition. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. We must have, thank you. I don't know if you probably can't see that here. No, it's
blue. And you said purple.
Yes, it's that's the 10th edition. The purple edition is, and Dr. Kim, you may have already looked through and seen any of the differences in the two.
Yeah.
Could you speak to that 1 second?
Well, we've been using the polyden back for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but 11th edition has some added chapter on QI, quality improvement.
Mm-hmm.
So did you buy the 10th edition?
I'm renting the 10th edition because so I can return it and get the 11th, but that may take some time and I've already done the reading. So
Yeah. I mean, if you can return and get the 11th, it's my apology for giving the wrong information, but always like a bookstore, they always offer most recent edition. So if you can, 11th, but usually the basic concept will not much changes. So I don't think you'll lose any time for changing it. Okay, but the thing is, every week we have a quizzes. Quiz is an open book quiz. 10 questions, you have a limit of 30 minutes. So it's due toward the end of the week. So we want you go over the content and then able to answer the question. But remember, it's open book, so it shouldn't be that stressful. But a lot of quizzes are basic concept and definition, those kind of things. So I don't think you'll lose a lot in the beginning. Was it helpful? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I did the same problem. I ended up purchasing the 10th edition through Amazon book renter. So yeah, I guess
I'm sorry.
I'll return it and get a new one.
Yeah. I didn't even check the link. I'm sorry.
yeah, the concern, if we can't get that updated version in time for the quiz, you think that we'll be fine with, like, I've already done notes on these chapters, so that should be sufficient to get me through this quiz, and then the next one, it shouldn't be too much of a variance.
No. So remember, the research terminology do not change. It's the same. They just add few more here and there. As I mentioned before, they add new chapter on QI, which is gonna cover at the end of the semester. So in terms of the content, I don't think there'll be any big changes. So if you could return, they'll be wonderful, and a sincere apology for that mistake. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. All right. What other questions before I get to start talking a little bit and asking questions? Somebody ask a question. Somebody communicate with me about what questions you might have.
Yeah, I have a question. So does the bookstore on campus have the 11th edition? Because I'm on Amazon right now and they don't have the 11th edition.
Yeah, and our bookstore on campus, I think, is all online, isn't it, Dr. Kim, now? I think our bookstore is just like Amazon, is everything's online now, and that they would send that to you. I could double check again, but I'm sure that they don't have a lot of in-store textbooks, but it's Barnes and Noble online is what we went to a couple of years ago, and now, especially this year, I think most everything is online. You order it online and it is shipped to you, I believe. I'll make sure about that, and I'll double check with the bookstore before tomorrow, and I'll send an email out to everybody as soon as I hear from the bookstore if they have this text. Do you have, Dr. Kim, you have it?
Other option is we could copy chapter 1, chapter 3, and then I'll make it available for you guys. Would it be helpful?
Would that be helpful? Dr. Kim says we can, since this is week 1, we can copy chapter 1 and chapter 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the first 3 chapters, and we'll make it available to you all so that everybody has it for this week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. Sorry about that. I didn't even click on the link to see where it went to. So my apologies. Great. What other questions? It's all it's all clear as mud, or it's all just really clear to everybody about what we're doing? Because before time goes by fast, it says 5:26, and I haven't even started talking yet. And any
You know,
questions?
sorry, I had a question. I'm sorry. Maybe going back for the education track. How many hours of clinical are we supposed to do? Is it 20 hours?
In this class, 20. Yes.
Okay. And those 20 hours
and
are
in the,
where?
Oh, and in the spring is 20 hours. Right now, we have sent, I had Carol sent out to everyone, places where you could, I mean, you can pick up hours right now just because of COVID right here on campus. Going where we also have a health promotion center where you can get clinical hours. Plus, the county has offered a lot of hours to nurses to just to get. So any of those settings would be fine for anyone. It's, you won't be in the acute care settings. That's for CNSs. We don't have, we go by the consortium rules and play that. That's for CNSs or MPs have that ability, but they don't allow us other hours for you to get a 20 hours that we want for this class. Did that answer some? So yeah, we have students up there right now. In fact, they've been here for the last week or so. So any of those, I think Carol sent out a sheet that you can sign up for any of those at the Wellness Center. If you haven't, I'll make sure that she sends them so that you should be able to get 20 hours easily this semester. Just by signing up for any of those days or any of those opportunities. It said some's here, some's at our Wellness Center, but then there's plenty throughout San Diego County that she has a sign-up sheet. Okay. All right, great. What other questions? And be sure, even if this is, if I didn't answer your question the way you would like it, just send me an email and let me know so that I can, Dr. Kim?
Yes, if you open a 6020L course syllabi, there is an instruction about servant leadership. What examples could meet that servant leadership? So basically, it's about your voluntary work. Anywhere you choose voluntary, you do not have any preceptor for this course, 20 hours. So you can do few hours here, few hours there. So that's why kind of open, that's what we call servant leadership. So we are offering some opportunity at COVID, at university COVID testing, and then you can do some other voluntary work. For example, you can work for your nursing association, be part of it, being a leader, learn to be a leader. You can count those hours under servant leadership. Does it make sense? Questions?
He might not have heard that. Did you hear, Mr. Burnett, you come right here just.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard. Thank you.
Okay. So, but please check the 6020L course syllabi. There's some description about what you can do for 20 hours of servant leadership activities, basically. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And Dr. Kim, we didn't send that out to the CNS students yet, though, did we? That list, but we could put it in. Okay. Was there another question?
I do. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Lopez.
Regarding, I know Carol sent an email regarding the school clinical site for Warren Walker. So we can go to the clinical site.
Could you say, I could hear part of that. Could you say that again?
I know Carol sent an email regarding the school clinical site. So do we just have to email Dr. King regarding that, or is it Carol for that? If I want to volunteer if I want to do my clinical hours.
Yeah, any of those you could sign up for, and this is what Carol was here for. Any of those you could sign up for. This is what Carol was in here today to show you where you could log those, and Dr. Kim or I, or if you're a CNS those instructors, anyone can be able to go in there and look at those. But all of those are already approved. Any list that Carol sends is already approved through the School of Nursing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So any of those, oh, go ahead, Dr. Kim.
So I think you really need to pay attention to Carol's email. We send out periodically that's a possible opportunity for clinical hours. For example, we have a San Diego County has a lot of COVID testing centers. So we send out the email a couple of weeks ago. You can just sign up for those hours, time slot. And then that's your clinical hours for servant leadership. So look out those emails. A lot of opportunity we are sending out. If you have any question, contact Carol, ask for that, where are those sites you can do your hours.
And this, let me just mention to you, just a little quick history. You say a little quick, I've been talking already over an hour. But there we go. In years past, this was not part of our program for individuals who were not in the CNS role. However, our accreditor said at the master's level, everyone should be getting some type of clinical hours related to the degree that you're getting your degree in, the place that you're getting your degree. So there are a lot of in our program, say at the Wellness Center, you'll be expected to work with undergraduate students and actually sort of as the leader, people who have been in undergraduate programs and now you're there working in the hospital to share some of your expertise. So even if you're working side by side, there's a difference in the expectation that the master's level student is coming to this clinical location with a set of skills and things that the undergrad students don't have. And so they required us to, all universities, to actually make sure that we allow students that opportunity at a master's level to get some clinical hours, even if you weren't in a clinical setting. You could be an admin, you could be a nurse researcher somewhere. They still want you somewhere beside a patient, related to patient care in some aspect, but in a leadership type of position in some ways. And evidence-based practice will allow you to do that. And so that's why we have this built into this course, and in the course that some of you will be taking in the spring, the 60-30. Again, they advised us, they wanted all students to be able to get clinical hours and to have that clinical focus as you moved along, rather than just the CNS student. So, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me read about kind of clarification about servant leadership. You can have a total of 50 hours throughout the program. You can do for 60-20L, this course. You can do 60-24L, 60-25L. You have a multiple opportunity to do your servant leadership hours, 50 hours. So you can do any pop-up clinic, flu clinic, blood pressure clinic, association partnership, professional partnership. So you can kind of find out those information in your 60-20L. If you have any question about those possible opportunity for your clinical hours, okay?
Thank you.
And just to clarify, the servant leadership specific clinical hours are ones that are already approved and emailed to us from Carol or Dr. King, right?
Yeah.
They're okay.
And if there are others that you have a question about, email Carol or email us, and most things are approved. I mean,
okay.
Again, right now it is huge what we could be doing for not only San Diego County, but again, so yeah, it's really large, and those 20 hours will be gone by before you know it, and if 3 days, 3 8-hour days, and you've more than completed those hours. Okay.
So we have the opportunity to ask Carol or email them and ask if it can get approved.
Exactly. And if it's questions, you'll ask me and I'll send my approval right to you.
Awesome.
We used to have a lot of conferences built in, but AACN, our accreditors, wanted it to be, again, at that leadership perspective as a master's level nurse versus as a BSN or associate degree nurse. What are you bringing to that clinical situation? Okay, yeah, and that's always a big thing, and we'll be talking about it each week, but please ask questions about that. Now, I don't know if you've noticed it a little bit, and there's the chat box. Let me just make sure, am I answering questions? Zoom, should we have the 11th edition? Yeah, 11th edition. The required text, yes, it is 11th edition. Digital copies are fine. The material should be the same in the digital version. The Kindle version, somebody was asking about. VitalSource, thank you all for putting that in the chat box. And you know also, while you're there, that you can copy this chat, the chats that are there, and actually have a record for yourself after you finish class tonight in case there are questions. Just go ahead and copy that, okay? And thank you, Liz. Thank you for putting up that link there for everybody. Thank you. If you could please have Carol send out the sheet. Okay, great, we'll have Carol send that out. Anybody local in San Diego? Great. Very good, awesome. So please keep chatting. One benefit and one thing that we feel like we miss in this virtual time is that connection. When people are face to face, we usually have them in by halfway through the class, we're doing some type of group exercises, and you are beginning to form those relationships and networks that really last much longer than the 2 years that you are here in the program. That's a benefit. But we found some ways to do it here in a online community. So we'll be working at that and trying to make it better and better and better. Okay, I need to go through really quick. I don't know if you've noticed a few minutes ago, the network started going a little bit slower, and so I'm going to try my best to finish up anything we need to talk about and to focus on any questions that you might have. I want to make sure that you know that you can reach us, Dr. Kim and myself, if there are questions that come up after you finish this. The moment you finish and you have a question, please email us. Did anybody have any questions from what you read in chapter 1 or in the Canvas assignments? Anything that you clicked on from the COVID assignments, the verification, anything looking through the Canvas?
Doctor,
Yes,
can
ma'am.
I just ask a question before we move on into the assignments?
Please.
You mentioned that the link for the Zoom courses, the weekly Zoom courses, will be under the modules. Do we have to check in through the modules in order to be accounted for and get credit? Because I, like just for today, I used the Gmail invite versus going through Campus. So does it make a difference?
No, no, no. In fact, once you're here, I'm signing off because in Canvas, we have attendance so that we can click on you. We know that you're here. Okay. So we have that ability to, to check in when anybody checks in, so we know who's here for them. So no, any link, it should be the same. And as I said, I'll try to send one just in case one Zoom link doesn't work. I'll send you it again through email, and I'll try to make sure you have multiple ways of connecting. And if you still have problems, still call me. I have my phone here, and if anybody has any difficulty getting on anytime during the week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions before I go on? Because I'm just getting up to speed now. I'm getting ready to just go for it now. Let me go really quick through to make sure that you don't have any questions specifically about the, where is my screen? Got so many, open the syllabus. I think this is it. Let me see. Yeah. So we finished just looking at the modules. And if you, the ones you want to know about is, well, what is it that I have to do? So the assignments are pretty clear. Assignments and discussions may be linked on some of the things, such as putting your, introducing ourselves. This is always a great thing that we usually do face-to-face here in class, but we don't have that opportunity to do, so it's built in as a discussion. We want you to use some format to introduce yourselves to all of your colleagues and to Dr. Kim and I. And the next one is the PICO. I'm hoping that most people now who live in San Diego has heard of a PICO question, but you might not have. And we're going to be talking about why that's so important, sort of developing on how to develop a PICO question. And then the next assignment, of course, in the discussion is going to be an article discussion on something that we have, everyone is going to be reading. I think I went over this. Did I go over this? I thought I did. Yeah, I think I went over these, but just in case. This is a big one because if I were to ask any one of you about what plagiarism is, you would, unless you've gone through the module, you might say it is this, or this. And yet, it is a lot more sometimes, things that you would not think that is plagiarism, and yet it is. So it can be a little tough getting through that. Anyone who finished that module, how long did it take you? 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
A long time.
So it took me an hour as well.
Just an hour, wow.
Yeah.
It took quite a while.
It was-
I didn't know how far we were supposed to go. I went all the way through I think the expert level.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome, great. But it really is, it shows you in detail, you know, all of the things that we may have not have thought that it's okay, but it's really not okay. And, you know, we can really get in trouble with that if we, especially if we're going outside of these classrooms and we're doing something, we're posting something that shouldn't be posted and we don't know that we shouldn't. Or if you're doing you're turning in a paper that's worth half of the grade for this class, and we say, oops, our tools that we use say that you plagiarized half of this, and you say, nope, I didn't do this, this is what I did. And when you look at the exact rules, it may be a little bit, it could be a little gray, but most of the things are pretty clear cut when we follow what the guidelines say for plagiarism. And Dr. Kim has something. Please, just shout it out, Dr. Kim, come on.
Okay, so what I like to do, I want to clarify for your assignment. You have a team assignment, individual assignment. So basically, as a team of 3, like Dr. Rankin create, you need to work together throughout the semester. So we are learning about research concept, terminology, but same time, we're gonna work together as a team about your EBP project. So we want you to be your EBP committee. 3 of you at EBP committee. You need to select a topic, like a PICO question, and then from there, you're gonna do literature search, okay, as a team, and you need to synthesize evidence. So, and then you're gonna come up with a recommendation for changing project. So we are walking through those EBP steps together throughout the semester. So next week, you need to talk about as a team. So what you need to do as a team, communicate and select a topic, one topic, clinical problem, and develop PICO question. And also you need to have a team leader among 3 of you together. Somebody has the team leader. You need to develop team charter. When you work together as a team, you know, certain contract among your team member must be established. So all equal contribution for the success of your team. So there's some instruction in that sheet, what to discuss. So as a team, you develop team charter. Now, where do you get the clinical question? it's not about the acute care setting. This semester, we want your clinical hours are more into the community setting, right? A lot of voluntary work, servant leadership. So think about in the community setting, what would be the topic you want to work on? So you need to come up with the PICO question. Can I ask a question? Have you heard about PICO at your setting?
Yes.
Can you say?
A couple.
No.
No? Okay, okay, some of you did already. So we have to come up with the PICO. We're gonna have some of those reading and class activity next week, but as a team, you have to come up with a PICO question, okay? And then week 3, librarian will be here. So she's gonna help us how to navigate Ryan Library and how to get the best, most current evidence related to your PICO question. So you have to work together. You need to select article, research evidence, okay? And then you need to kind of read together. So week 4, you have a team assignment. Yeah, I want to think about. So you need to finalize team PICO. So you start working next week. You might have to go through the multiple revision with your faculty, and then you finalize PICO question. And then you need to start search the evidence and develop evidence summary grid, which we're gonna talk about throughout the semester, but you need to kind of creating the table for key elements of research paper. That's a week 4 assignment as a team. Okay, and then week 5, you have a theoretical framework when you do any team, any changing project, like EVP project, certain theoretical conceptual framework we follow through. So you will need to select one model for your team project and you're gonna present, okay? You're gonna present to the class. So you might develop, create, PowerPoint slide and you discuss, present to the class at week 5. Okay, week 7, now this is the big paper. When you do research class, as graduate level, also writing is so important, scholarly writing. So as a team, you work together, evidence synthesis paper, and you have to write a paper. Okay, introduction, you have to synthesize evidence. There's some instruction. If you go to the week 7, there's an instruction how long the paper should be. And then there's again, how to avoid plagiarism. You're applying to those team scholarly paper, okay? There's a paper week 7. When you're submitting that paper, team evidence synthesis paper, faculty would give comment. So when you receive those comments, you need to improve those paper. Okay, so it's all semester long. Toward the end of the paper, you're moving together, but we want you revised. Learn how to revise and improve quality of scholarly paper after week 7. Good? Any questions so far? Good? Thumbs up? Can I see thumb up? Okay, so I just want to give you a big picture before we going on so that you know what to expect in this course. Okay, and then you go to and then each week we're gonna learn about research process, research terminology, study design, sampling. Now, while you're learning that terminology, you are applying to your team project to kind of go together, okay? So week 11, you're gonna submit a team clinical application paper. It's a draft. What we learned throughout the year, you need a lot of comment from the faculty. So you submit the draft, we give comment, you revise, you improve the quality of paper. So we want you submit draft team clinical application paper, meaning based on evidence synthesis, what are you going to do? You want to change nursing practice. So you are writing proposal basically. This is what we want to do, okay? So that's the kind of big paper, big assignment toward the end, but we want to submit the draft, no graded, draft. We'll give you comment, okay? And then through that time, when you go each week, when we go over research process, we're gonna read a lot of research article. So when you're reading the research article, you learn how to critique quality of research paper. So there's a one individual assignment. There's a lot of team assignment, meaning as a team, you will get same grade. But there will be also individual assignment. So there's a one week 12, there's an individual critical appraisal paper. So you're gonna critique one research paper we're gonna give to you, and you're gonna write 3-page, very short, but you're gonna put it into the writing, scholarly writing about evaluating quality of paper, okay? And then week 13, you're gonna submit the final paper, which is a clinical application proposal paper, 12-page long team paper. You got comment, feedback from faculty twice. So this time it'll be much improved scholarly paper, right? And then week 14, based on that clinical application paper as a team, you're gonna prepare poster, okay? So you're gonna disseminate to the rest of the class. So you are going through the whole process from the beginning to the end, okay? Now, then as a team, you're all getting same grade, but also it's very important to do peer evaluation, because when you do teamwork, we need to see how, kind of peer review. So it's like in the clinical setting, every year you do peer eval. So we want same thing during this teamwork, how much each person self-eval, how much I contribute to the success of my project. What about others? So you do peer eval to each other. That's a 5% of the total grade. So this kind of big picture of the course assignment. The benefit of this assignment will help you to do your comprehensive exam next year. Exact same concept, but CE, comprehensive exam, you do alone by yourself. But this time, this course as a team, you're learning from each other. So it'll be much easier second year when you do in your comprehensive exam, the assignment. Okay, question. I think it's good to see the big picture, but again, every week, we're gonna help you to learn the process, reading the article together, and apply to your team. So a lot of team discussion, okay? Question, please.
I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding the PICO question formation, when we're talking about our clinical situation, you said you wanted it to be community-based. Are there more, do we have more guidelines on that?
But think about as a nurse, patient coming to the hospital, right? But there are a lot of things happen in the community setting, like lack of knowledge. Like for example, very simple, heart failure. Readmission is a huge issue, right? Right? So we do a lot of things in the hospital setting, what to do, but think about in the community setting, what can be done.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
So don't think too hard. It's all related to your nursing practice, but we want you to focus on community, population, community setting. That's why Health Promotion Center might be a good choice, good place you want to visit there. Have you heard about Health Promotion Center? Our school of nursing, we do have a free clinic to the community, low income area. Where is
it 41st and University?
Yes, so we have a nurse practitioner provide free clinics to those population there. So you can visit there and see, talk to them, nurse practitioner, and then you can do clinical hours there and see, and then have some idea what's the most common problem from the population: hypertension, type 2 diabetes management, depression, health literacy, a lot of issues there. You can select those topics and then do your PICO team question. And you can use that hours to visit the site as part of your clinical hours, because you are learning about population, about low income area, about how to improve quality of care, right? So there's a lot of opportunity, but the team is very important. Teamwork is very important. So among three of you, talk about, well, you need to develop contract, okay? It has to be equal contribution, contract, and then how to improve communication, right? We talked about earlier importance of communication. Sometimes you are everybody too busy. We're all busy. And then you need to be able to confront so that we all kind of work together into professional communication skills there. Questions?
So then for the second week assignment, that PICO kind of essay thing that's due, we're writing that together as a group of 3 and we're all submitting the same form?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So maybe team leader, when you go to, I think the other piece, you need to have some kind of strategy developed among the team. What's the best way to communicate? If you go to the Canvas, there's a collaboration tab there. And you can use as a team, use that site, work together. So that that's why you need to talk among your team member, select what topic you want to work and develop a PICO question. Remember, it's all draft, working, and then you do more literature search. You might tweak a little bit. So, but it's good to start talking among your team, think about topic, and then actually working on your PICO questions.
You can also use a Google Doc or Hangout.
You can develop Google Doc among your team or Google Hangout, collaboration. So please read that instruction, how to develop team charter. There's all the instruction right there. Try to answer those questions, then it'll very help you, okay? Any questions? More questions?
All right.
Good? Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. I surely appreciate you. Dr. Kim just took us through the whole thing now, where you have an overview of everything you're doing throughout these next 14 weeks, and they'll go by so quickly. One thing I do urge you to do when you're looking at the assignments and due dates, please remember the due dates are the last dates. You can always work together before and submit it before. And things that that are going to be due and you may be out of town or working a different shift or something like that, please work with your colleagues if it's a team project or on your own. Let us know, communicate with us if there's a problem, and we'll be sure to do what we can to assist you. But it's that communication. I'm going to go ahead and log out simply because I didn't want an hour and a half right here, right now. And again, they've encouraged us to put a lot of the homework and we did in the Canvas for you to do. We want to use this time to clarify, to help you move forward with any of those things. But be sure and email us or communicate with us for any of the things that you need, okay? Any questions from anybody before I say the last thing and we just leave here and get to the work? All right. Well, many blessings to you all. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And we were going to move forward in this semester. Some of your other colleagues may be in a Thursday section. And if there are questions or anything, let us know. Dr. Kim and I will be here again on Thursday working with the other half of the group. So a lot of colleagues, a lot of nurses. And at this time, as I said, it keeps we have increasing technology problems whenever we go past an hour or so. So this is another reason why we're going to try to keep the sessions as, you know, as brief as we can to answer questions, to help you move forward, to help you get into the assignments, okay? I'll be, as soon as I close this out, and I'll start rendering the video, and so maybe in an hour or so, I may send this out to you, maybe a big file, so it may be a Google Doc that it has to be in so that you can see this video again if there are questions and, you know, along or anything else. Any questions before I say good night to everybody? All right. All righty. Well, thank you again for everybody for coming. Look forward to seeing you in any communication with us that you need, okay? Many blessings to everyone. Have a great evening, great week. Stay safe out there. Continue to do what you do. We appreciate you so much. Many blessings. Bye-bye.